What's up guys, it's your girl Becks and welcome to the Monaco Weekend edition of Race Rundown. Now, something a little bit different for you lot. I am here at Brands Hatch with the fam. We're going to get some photos, we're going to get some videos. They won't be on camera because they're not a big fan of being on camera. But yeah, we've got a brilliant day planned. Brilliant sunshine, can't get much better. And we'll be back a bit later on. Yo, what is up guys, it's your girl Becks. Welcome back to the Race Rundown post Monaco GP. Now, I have lots of thoughts about this particular race. I think it was one of the best. We also have a couple of pictures, a couple of clips from, as I promised, my day at Brands Hatch with the fam and my Formula One friends, who you heard from last episode. Now, off the top, I had a fun Saturday at Brands Hatch. I bought some F1 merch because why wouldn't you? I got a Danny Rick McLaren shirt. I had to. For the meme, I had to. And I got a new Lando Norris shirt, which is slightly less papaya. Don't get me wrong, it's still got some papaya, but it's slightly less papaya. So, I got loads of cool pictures of the vintage F1 cars that were racing around. As you can see on the screen, I'm going to put some pictures in there. It was great fun. We had a laugh. We watched some really good racing. There was a couple crashes. I'll put that footage in here now. Car park there, mate. And we're back. Please ignore my really annoying voice in that video. But hey ho, I thought it was funny. I thought you guys would think it's funny too. So, we had that on the Saturday. Then, my Formula One friends were staying at Brands Hatch for the Sunday. That then meant that I missed the vintage F1 races. However, I then, for you guys, came back to my humble abode and I watched the Monaco Grand Prix. And by God, was I happy that I watched the Monaco Grand Prix. And that's saying something because normally I don't like the Monaco GP, but this one was pretty good, okay? The two races that I've said to you guys in previous episodes that I didn't like, i.e. the Miami GP and Monaco, have both proved to be the most entertaining at this point, which does indeed surprise me. Here's where we're going to start. We're going to start off with arguably the most entertaining part of Monaco, which was lap 1. What in the ever-loving went on in lap 1? There was so much going on in lap 1. We had, obviously, the red flag. However, how did the red flag come about, you may ask? Becks, what happened? I missed it. I didn't get to watch it. Well, here is what happened, my friends. So, lap 1 begins with McDonald's and Subway fighting each other. No, sorry. We had the Ferraris and the McLarens fighting each other in Monaco. Lovely start, lovely start. However, Sainz then gets a puncture. So, Sky F1, I was watching it with Sky F1, we're focusing on Sainz with the puncher. However, little did we know that the back of the grid was getting absolutely fucked. Poor Checo, man. Poor Checo. Now, I take the piss out of my Formula One friends, as you heard in the last episode. One of my friends, Callan, he is a Checo stan, okay? He loves Checo. And I feel like every time I watch a race that he isn't watching as well, or I'm there watching it with him, something happens to Checo. Now, I don't wish to be a bad luck charm for anyone, but I find it hilarious. So, you best believe that I was watching the replay over and over and over on Sky F1, videoing it for him, because obviously at this time when it's all popping off, he's at Brands watching all that pop off. So, as a good friend and a podcast host, I wanted to give him the inside scoop. So I was recording the replays for him and sending them in our F1 chat so that him and his wife Ellie had the lowdown. I didn't want them to be left out. So that was that. Sainz goes off with a puncher. Okay, so that happens. Gutted. Then it gets red flagged. This then means that Sainz has time to fix his puncher. And because they didn't do a full lap of Monaco, he then got to go back into third after fixing his puncher. If there was ever a moment where you wish you could redo something in life, Sainz literally got a redo. He said Uno reverse on that bitch. And he got a redo. So that's where we're at this point. So then at this point, we have both Hasses and Checo. Now, if you'd been keeping up with the weekend up to date, you would know that both the Hasses got disqualified from qualifying. Okay, fine. So then they get a second chance in the GP, right? And you'd think that Gene Haas, our guy Gene, who was on Gunther Steiner's arsehole the whole time he was race principal, would have said to both the lads, do not fuck this up for me. You would think. However, that was clearly not the case, as K-Mag decided to absolutely obliterate Checo into the wall. He went for a gap that arguably, and we're going to get into that, was not big enough. It wasn't big enough. What the fuck, K-Mag? And Checo just ate shit. Poor Checo. However, I say poor Checo. My father, who was also watching the race with me because he loves Formula One just as much as I do, thank the Lord, he has said a different perspective that Checo squeezed K-Mag just a little bit. Now, if you look at the onboard camera, and I believe that Jeremy Clarkson was the one that pointed this out first. I could be wrong, however, that's my source. That's where my dad found it. That's the source. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments or on Insta or wherever you guys like to comment. He pointed out that Checo looks in his mirror and then the accident happens. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen Checo's onboard footage. However, that is the unpopular opinion from JC and my dad. Who do you think was at fault? Because for me, I think K-Mag was at fault. However, there is an unpopular alternative opinion. Please let me know. So, K-Mag tags Perez. Perez slides, hits the barrier, takes out Hulkenberg. Both Hasses are out. Gene, having a freaking aneurysm, no doubt. Probably screaming his head off somewhere. Somebody put him on suicide watch. He may be dead. Anyway, moving on. And that was that. It was absolute bloody carnage. Nobody knew what was going on. They had to crane the bloody cars out of the track. All the fans that had paid loads of money to sit on that crap corner that they thought was just going to be a 2-second meow right at the beginning. They got an eyeful, didn't they? Jesus Christ. There was about 7 different angles of the crash all over TikTok and Facebook. And oh my God, it was everywhere. Anyway, personally, where the fuck did K-Mag think he was going to go? If he is trying to get a seat, he needs to try harder. Honestly, it's a mess. So then, you would think that that was the end. Absolutely not. We had more chaos in the form of Ocon and Gasly, the two Alpines. Lord knows they are shit when it comes to speed this year. However, they are giving us plenty of teammate antics to go off of. And Ocon. Since when did you think that a Formula One car also qualified as a trampoline? Are you trying to break yourself? Just saying. Anyway, Ocon fights with Gasly. Gasly, perfectly in the right, stays on the racing line. Ocon drives over his wheel, gets launched into the air, comes crashing down, and is then forced by his boss to take full responsibility, as his boss is on French TV, basically long and short of it in a political way, saying, what the fuck did he think he was doing? We're going to replace him if he isn't careful. His exact words were that his position within the team is under severe observation. Interesting developments here. Who do we think, place your bets, that Ocon will be replaced with? Who knows? Ocon was 100% at fault. He claimed within the media paddock that he was 100% at fault. I've watched the replays. He was indeed 100% at fault. There was no two ways about it. He was pushing too hard. Gasly had the racing line, and that was that. That was that. We see it all the time. It is what it is. Then, just when you think it was over, our guy, the Strollpedo, Daddy buys me an F1 team, decides in his infinite wisdom to clip the chicane and his tyre goes flying. Are we shocked? No. I'll tell you what I am shocked about. I'm shocked about the fact that, to use the words of rocket-powered Mohawk, the window licker didn't hit anyone else. Just a wall. Just a wall. His dad must have been so proud. So proud. His dad must have been so proud. So proud. Does anyone else think that Stroll just has a very punchable face? Just me? Just me. Insert cricket sounds here. Okay then. Anyway, that was really all the excitement that we had in the Monaco GP. To the point where, obviously, we had the Monaco curse broken as well. I feel like that is secondary news to all the carnage that we had at the beginning. So, Charles won. He broke the curse. He won his home race. Good for him. Good for him. You know? Good for him. Good for him. And I must say, okay, and I'm not just saying this because I am a Red Bull hater, alright? I will say that seeing Verstappen down in 6th made me very happy. No, I'm happy for Piastri. The fact that he was 2nd, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. I feel like most people, when it comes to McLaren, think of Norris straight away. And in some respects, I think that Piastri is actually more talented than Norris. In other respects, I think that Norris is more talented than Piastri. I think they both bring something equal to the team. And I think they're a really good pairing together. That's evident in the fact that we had a 2nd and a 4th place finish. I think that it was unfortunate that we had the red car. It's unfortunate that we had the red flag. I think that Norris could have been up there in 3rd if Sainz hadn't have basically got his Uno reverse redo. But we got lucky with one safety car. We can't get lucky in another circumstance. Unpopular opinion, we got very lucky in the Miami GP. If it wasn't for that safety car, I don't think we'd have had that outcome. But Norris got the win, so I don't care. Basically, that's where I'm going to leave that. It was nice to see Piastri up there in 2nd. It's interesting to me that Russell managed to not only beat Hamilton in the same car, but also beat Verstappen. Now, the Red Bull is meant to be crazy fast, right? But the Merc managed to hold its own. Now, is that just because George is good at driving a shit car because of his time at Williams? Is that because the Red Bull just can't run in dirty air? Is it because they've made it for the home race of Max and that's how they've moulded the car and they haven't done it for street circuits? Does this mean that the Red Bull is not dominant in street circuits? Could that mean that we see him struggle in other street circuits? We're going to have to wait and see. Now, another person that I was happy about seeing quite high up is Tsunoda. I feel like we don't talk about Tsunoda a lot. And I think that is because a lot of focus is put on Danny Rick. Now, at the top end of this podcast, I said to you guys that I bought a Danny Rick McLaren shirt. I felt like I had to. Purely for the meme. He's the only racing driver in my lifetime that I can recall that got bought out of his contract because he was that shit. So that's interesting to me. And for the meme, I just had to. But I feel like he, out of the 2 racing drivers for the RBs, that's what we're going to call them. I am not calling them Visa Cash Up. It's not happening. We're calling them the RBs. Out of the RBs, I feel like Daniel has the personality. He has the persona. He has that quality that people look for when it comes to press and media, which is obviously why he got put in the Red Bull team to begin with on the media side of things after he got booted from McLaren. And I think that they put him next to Tsunoda to try and bring him out of his shell a little bit. Now, Tsunoda is, in my opinion, not a media persona. He is a Formula 1 driver. He is calm, collected, he's driven, he does what he needs to do, and he's not great, in my opinion, in front of the camera. However, you put him next to Danny Rick. Danny Rick has the smile, he has the charm, he has the Australian accent, he has the hair, he's not exactly bad looking, let's be honest. So, he is, therefore, beloved by millions of Formula 1 fans just for who he is. Now, when you are the, I guess, sister team, child team of a team like Red Bull who has such dominance, When Max and Checo don't want to do press, who do you think they're going to send out? They couldn't send out Tsunoda, could they? So why do you think Danny Ric is there? I personally think that Danny Ric's seat is better off given to somebody else who can actually drive a car. Same opinion with Stroll. We all know how I feel about that man. So until I've basically come to the conclusion that until Daddy Lawrence sells the team, Stroll is here to stay. Sad times. However, you never know, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be wrong. Off the track, everything appears to have, thank God, died down a little bit. There's still conversations about Sainz going to Williams. Sainz seems to be the one that everybody is talking about at the moment. There's talks in recent hours, as of this morning, that Sainz could be announced at the Spanish Grand Prix to move to Williams for 2 years until 2026. I don't know. As long as he stays on the grid at this point, I'm not bothered which team he goes to. I'm really not. All the rumours surrounding Max and the implosion of Red Bull have seemed to die down. I am unsure what will come of that. So the second I hear absolutely anything about that, I will let you guys know, of course. There's been lots of articles about McLaren behind the scenes, the new Formula 1 game that's coming out, Ocon not being a team player, FIA president advises Andretti to buy another Formula 1 team rather than trying to bring his own in there. There's just lots going on in the world of F1 right now, and we're just going to have to see where it goes. We're going to have to see how it continues, and we have, until then, we have something to look forward to. We have the next Formula 1 race, which is Canada. Now, it's not an American race, thank God. So, finally, a race that Becks likes. Not this weekend, next weekend, we have the Canadian Grand Prix. That does mean, however, late night practices and a late night race. Oh well, rather late night than early morning, thank you very much. Are we excited about Canada? Let me know in the comments. This video will 100% be up before the Canadian Grand Prix. I am not falling behind again, people. I can only apologise for the fact that that even happened in the first place. Life got hectic, we are not doing that anymore. So, with all that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, ring the bell for the notifications. If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow, leave us a star rating on there so that I know that you enjoy the content that we've got being made here at Race Rundown HQ. And until next time at the Canadian Grand Prix, I've been your girl Becks. This has been another Race Rundown, and I'll speak to you soon.